My daughter leaned close and whispered something I was never supposed to hear. I was lying on my own dining room floor, barely able to breathe, chest pain spreading fast. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. But I could hear every word. "Don't call an ambulance yet," she said quietly. "We need to talk about the house first." My son stood near the doorway and glanced down at me. "Mom won't even know what's happening." They thought I was finished. They thought the woman who raised them, sacrificed for them, and loved them through the hardest years of her life was finally done. They had absolutely no idea what was coming next. My name is Rachel Bennett. I'm 38 years old, and I work as a school librarian in a quiet town where everyone knows your face, but not always your story. When my husband passed away 9 years ago, I didn't have the luxury of falling apart. I had 2 teenagers who needed me present every single day. So I showed up. I skipped promotions. I canceled the trip to Portugal I had saved for since my 20s. I drove a car with a broken heater for 2 winters because both kids needed new laptops, and there wasn't enough money for everything. I made those choices without regret, because I believed family was worth it. What I didn't realize was that I had also been quietly building something else entirely, something my children knew nothing about. And that something was about to matter more than any of them could have imagined. If you've ever given everything to someone and still felt invisible, stay with me. Subscribe if you've ever been underestimated by the people closest to you. And click hype right now because what happens next changed everything. It started at a family dinner my son had suggested. Visits had become rare. When my children did reach out, the conversation almost always circled back to the same subject. The house. My savings. What I planned to do with things once I was gone. Midway through dinner, my chest tightened without warning. The pain spread fast, and I was on the ground before I understood what was happening. I don't remember falling. I only remember the ceiling and the strange stillness that followed. My daughter's voice came first. "Calm. Too calm. Don't call yet. We need to handle a few things first." My son crouched near me with papers in his hand. "Actual paperwork. She should sign while she's still conscious. It's cleaner that way." My aunt stood in the hallway with her hand over her mouth. She reached for her phone, and I assumed she was calling for help. What I didn't know was that she was recording. My daughter said loudly, "I've been waiting 3 years for this. I'm not losing the house because she decides to do something dramatic." They argued over my savings while I lay on the floor of the home I had paid for alone. My aunt stepped outside and called the ambulance herself. The paramedics arrived 8 minutes later. 8 minutes is a long time when you're counting seconds on your own kitchen ceiling. After I was discharged, I hoped the scare would remind my children what actually mattered. Instead, the visit stopped completely. Then the rumors started. My son told relatives I had been acting confused and making poor decisions. He used the word unstable more than once. My daughter suggested someone should manage my finances for my own protection. They were building a case. Not out of concern. Out of strategy. I started writing everything down. Dates, conversations, names. I saved text messages. I backed up every piece of evidence in 2 separate places. I didn't know exactly how I would use it yet. I just knew I needed to be ready. They were confident. Organized. They believed they were winning. What they didn't know was that I had never been more clear-headed in my life. Here is what nobody in my family knew. 8 years ago, I started an anonymous YouTube channel. I talked about caregiving, about raising children alone, about finding strength when you had nothing left. I used a second-hand camera and free editing software. And I just talked honestly about what my life actually felt like. The channel grew slowly, then faster than I could track. Caregivers, single parents, people who felt unseen by the families they had given everything to. My inbox filled with messages from strangers who said my words helped them through something unbearable. By the time my children were spreading rumors about my mental state, my channel had over 400,000 subscribers and earned more each month than my librarian salary. My son had once laughed at YouTube creators while sitting at my kitchen table. "People watch strangers talk about their feelings," he said. "It's embarrassing." He had no idea he was talking about me. Her name was Diane Calloway, a retired media executive who had become a steady presence in my life after a library fundraiser. When I told her everything, She didn't look surprised. She looked focused. You have documentation? She asked. A folder, I said. And a recording my aunt made. Then you're not as unprotected as they think. Diane helped me organize everything and connected me with a lawyer who specialized in financial protection cases. She reviewed every piece of evidence and helped me understand what mattered legally. Then she said something I needed to hear. You've been hiding your accomplishments to protect their comfort. That's over now. While Diane helped me prepare, my children kept moving. My daughter contacted a real estate agent for a quiet estimate on my home. My son drafted a letter suggesting he manage my finances due to health concerns. They were moving fast. They believed I was running out of time. They were right that time was running out. They were wrong about who it was running out for. I went live on a Saturday afternoon. Over 60,000 people were watching in real time. I sat in my home office, the one my children had never been invited into, calm in a way that surprised even me. I said my name out loud for the first time on that channel. Rachel Bennett. Librarian. Mother. Widow. The woman behind every video they had ever watched. Then I shared the other part of the story. I described the dinner. I described lying on my kitchen floor. I played a portion of my aunt's recording. The voices clear and unmistakable. My daughter's tone discussing the house. My son mentioning the paperwork. Then my phone lit up. My son's name on the screen. I answered on speaker. His voice was tight. Mom, you're making us look terrible. I didn't rush. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't make you say those things. You did. My daughter jumped in, claiming everything was taken out of context. I pulled up the text messages about the real estate estimate and the drafted letter about financial representation, and I read the dates out loud. The context was clear to everyone listening. The call disconnected. The support that followed was something I could not have prepared for. 3 brand partners reaffirmed their relationships with me before the stream ended. 2 new partnership inquiries arrived that same evening. My children had spent months convincing people I was fading. Instead, 60,000 people watched me stand up. I didn't celebrate. I built. My lawyer finalized legal protections around my finances, my property, and my future medical decisions. My aunt called and cried. I told her that what she did with her phone that night had changed everything. Some relatives apologized for doubting me. I respected their honesty more than I would have respected pretending. My children went quiet. I stopped trying to figure out what they were thinking. I made my choices. They made theirs. I keep showing up to the library. I keep making videos. I keep reading messages from people who found my channel during their hardest seasons. The people who underestimate you reveal far more about themselves than they ever reveal about you. I built something real in the quiet when no one was watching. And when the moment came, I didn't need anyone's permission to let it be seen. If this story felt familiar, subscribe, share your experience in the comments, and click hype to help someone else find it tonight. Your story has power. Use it.